Hello folks, this is a quick video on what has happened when I tried to install the latest firmware update on the remote for the Phantom 3 Advanced. Essentially what I done is I connected my iPhone to the remote and installed the app. Once I done that, I got a prompt asking me to update the firmware on the remote, so I went ahead and done that. The update started, it lasted about 20 seconds, and then after that the remote shut down. So what I done is I disconnected everything, tried to turn the remote on again as normal by pressing the power button once, holding it down for a few seconds, and then it would normally boot up. But after the firmware update tried to happen, it basically was non-responsive. I was getting absolutely no lights here, and there was no sound. So it basically felt like if the remote control wasn't working at all. So after around about 4 days of pulling my hair out, got on forums, contacting the support with DJI, who were helpful enough, but yeah, you know, they kind of told me 80% of the story as to how this should be fixed. Again, that might have been partly to do with me, because I literally just got this thing. I didn't even get it off the ground and the remote stopped working. So you know, I'm not blaming DJI for this, but I do think that the process could be a bit easier. So essentially, again, to recap, what happened in my case is the remote stopped working after I tried to update the firmware. So I thought maybe the firmware didn't update correctly. So I contacted DJI and explained that to see exactly what would happen, what I could do next. So I went through a lot of different troubleshooting. Most of the things just didn't work. But the last thing they advised me to do was to hold down the C1 button, which is here, or sorry, the C1 button, which is here. To hold that down, and at the same time hold down the shutter button, which is the biggest button there on the left hand side, to hold those together. And I think that was to kind of reset the remote control. But basically there's another button that you have to hold down as well, or at least there was in my case. So I held down the C1, the shutter button, which is the big grey one there, the round grey one, so that one there, and also the power button. So you need to hold down those three together. Once I done that, the LEDs began to light up on the bottom again. So we got like a greenish color with the power, and three lights lit up here as well with the group of four. The first two were solid, the third one was flashing. So again, I wasn't even really too sure what that meant, but I was just happy that I was getting lights. It was a step forward, I think. Anyway, so that was grand. I went ahead and connected the app again to the controller, and it was actually able to see the controller for the first time since I tried to update the firmware. So at that point then, I tried to update the firmware again. It gave me the option to do that. Again, it didn't beforehand. So once I tried that, it was the app downloaded the software okay, but it wouldn't update the firmware. The remote control just continually turned off after about 20 seconds, and I think that's what happened at the start as well. So to basically overcome that, what I done is I pressed the three buttons again. I held down the C1, the shutter button, and the power button, which I demonstrated a second ago. Once I had done that, the remote came on again, and I tried to update the firmware again, and it shut down again. I'd done this maybe 3 or 4 different times, but eventually it did update the firmware, and everything does seem to be okay again now. So I'm just hoping this helps somebody else, because as I say, I've spent about 4 days trying to troubleshoot this, and I fix electronic devices for a living. So I can only imagine if you know, if someone doesn't do anything like this, it would be really, really daunting and quite difficult. So as I say, it might not work for you. I'm not claiming to know the ins and outs of this, and you know, please do this at your own risk. If it goes wrong, I'm sorry, but I'm not taking responsibility for it. But as I say, it should be straightforward enough if you follow those steps and you have the same problem as I do. So yeah, good luck anyway. Hopefully it all works out.